Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we sift through stacks of info articles, notes, research to pull out the really key stuff, turning everyday things into those aha moments. And today we're tackling something you probably see almost daily. It's likely in your fridge right now, actually. But it's surprisingly complex. We're talking about the tomato. Get ready to see this kitchen staple a bit differently.
That's right. Our mission here is to really explore the tomato from all angles. We'll look at the core nutrition, the really quite remarkable health benefits, and yeah, even some of the downsides or things to watch out for. By the end, you'll have a quick but solid understanding of this, well, fascinating fruit, or maybe vegetable. We'll touch on that. You'll definitely appreciate what's on your plate more.
Okay, let's unpack that. When we eat a tomato, beyond it being red and tasting good, what are we actually consuming? Like, per 100 grams of raw tomato, what's the nutritional breakdown look like?
Okay, so first off, it's incredibly light, just 18 calories per 100 grams. What's really striking, though, is the water content. It's about 95% water.
95%, wow.
Yeah, which makes it fantastic for hydration, almost like a natural sports drink, really, especially since it has electrolytes like potassium, too. Then, looking at the macros, roughly 3.9 grams of carbs total. That breaks down into about 2.6 grams of natural sugars and 1.2 grams of fiber. Protein's pretty minimal, zero point 0.9 grams, and fat is barely there at zero point 0.2 grams.
Right, 95% water, low calories. So beyond just hydration, what's the immediate practical takeaway there? That sounds great for, say, weight management.
Oh, absolutely. That combo high water, low calorie means it's filling without adding much to your daily intake. Ideal if you're watching your weight or honestly just trying to stay hydrated. And then you get the micronutrients. Tomatoes are a decent source of vitamin C, giving you around 15% of your daily need in that 100-gram serving. You also get vitamin K1, about 6.6%, and vitamin A, mostly from beta-carotene, around 4.6%. Potassium is significant too, about 5% of your daily value, and you get some folate and other B vitamins, maybe 3 to 5% each.
It's easy to just label tomatoes as healthy and move on, but it sounds like they're doing quite a bit nutritionally. So beyond these basic numbers, what about those really standout health benefits we found in the sources? This is where it gets interesting, right?
Definitely. They are packed, and I mean packed, with powerful compounds. We're talking antioxidants. Key ones are lycopene, beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin. These are basically compounds that fight oxidative stress in your body. Think of it like presenting rust on your cells. They protect cells from damage.
Preventing cellular rust. I like that visual. Okay, so these antioxidants are doing some heavy lifting. Let's get specific. What about heart health? How do tomatoes play a role there?
Well, studies consistently show they can help lower both blood pressure and that bad LDL cholesterol. The potassium helps your blood vessels relax, which lowers pressure. And then the lycopene and other compounds like flavonoids seem to reduce inflammation in the arteries. Good for overall heart well-being.
Okay, makes sense. And the big one we often hear about, cancer prevention. What's the connection?
Right, so lycopene, that main antioxidant, is linked pretty strongly to a lower risk of certain cancers, especially prostate, lung, and stomach cancers. But here's the really interesting part, maybe the aha moment for a lot of people. Cooked tomatoes actually make that lycopene much easier for your body to absorb.
Oh, really? So cooking them helps.
Significantly. That pasta sauce or tomato soup, it's not just tasty. The cooking process actually boosts the bioavailability of that protective lycopene.
That is a game changer. That's a fantastic tip. So cooked is better for that specific benefit.
Okay. What about blood sugar and managing weight?
Yeah, given they're low calorie and have a low glycemic index, they're great for that too. The fiber helps, along with the antioxidants, to keep blood sugar levels more stable. Plus, they help you feel full, satiety, which can definitely help with managing appetite and weight.
And skin health. Can tomatoes actually give you better skin, hair, or nails? They can certainly contribute. The vitamin C is vital for producing collagen. That's the protein that keeps skin firm. Vitamin A helps with skin hydration too. And those antioxidants offer some protection against UV damage from the sun, though obviously don't skip the sunscreen.
Right, of course. And what about for our brains and our eyes?
Lutein and zeaxanthin are the stars here. They are really important for eye health. They gather in the retina and help protect it from light damage. There's also evidence suggesting they might help lower the risk of age-related cognitive decline, maybe even dementia.
We mentioned hydration before, but muscle recovery. Could a tomato actually be a good post-workout snack?
You know, it could be. Remember that 95% water and the natural electrolytes like potassium? That makes them pretty good for rehydrating and helping muscles recover after you exercise, when you need to replace fluids and minerals.
And digestion. Last one on the benefits list.
Simple but important. The fiber. Dietary fiber helps keep things moving regularly, supporting overall gut health, helps prevent constipation, ensures good nutrient absorption. It really is quite amazing, isn't it, how one simple food can do so much for so many different systems in the body.
It really is. Almost sounds, well, a bit too perfect. Are there any catches? Any potential downsides or things we should be aware of?
Well, yes, like anything, there are some nuances, and it often comes down to individual sensitivity. Tomatoes are naturally quite acidic, so for people prone to heartburn or acid reflux, GERD, they can sometimes make symptoms worse.
Ah, the acidity. Okay.
Huh.
What about allergies?
It's not super common, but some people might experience something called oral allergy syndrome. That could mean like a tingly mouth or itching after eating raw tomatoes. Also, for certain individuals, tomatoes might increase uric acid levels. This could potentially trigger a gout flare-up if you're susceptible. And then there are compounds called alkaloids, natural plant chemicals, which in some sensitive people might cause a bit of stomach upset or even migraines.
Okay, so mostly related to individual sensitivities. Are there any more general concerns, maybe related to how they're grown or eaten?
Yeah, a couple of practical things. Like any raw produce, tomatoes can sometimes carry bacteria, things like salmonella. So washing them thoroughly is really important. Or cooking them eliminates that risk. And then there's the pesticide issue. Conventionally grown tomatoes can have pesticide residues. If that's a concern for you, choosing organic is one way to reduce that exposure. It really brings up that important point, doesn't it? About listening to your own body and making choices based on your reactions and, well, where your food comes from.
That's a very fair point. So pulling this all together, what does this mean for you, the listener, who wants to enjoy tomatoes but do it wisely? What are the key takeaways, the practical tips?
Okay, number one, it's a big one. Remember the cooking tip. Cooking tomatoes, especially with a little healthy fat like olive oil, seriously boosts that lycopene absorption. So embrace the sauce. Number two, if you can, choose vine-ripened tomatoes or go for organic. They often taste better and you reduce potential chemical exposure. Three, always, always wash raw tomatoes well under running water, just basic food safety. And finally, pay attention to your body. If you know you have issues like GERD or gout or you suspect an allergy, monitor how you feel when you eat tomatoes and adjust how much you eat accordingly. It's fascinating, too, how different types like cherry tomatoes versus Romas might vary slightly in their nutrient profiles, adding even more options.
Wow. So from just a simple salad ingredient to, well, a nutritional powerhouse with some surprising twists and things to keep in mind, you are now definitely well informed on the humble tomato. I bet you'll look at your next slice a little differently.
Absolutely. And if we zoom out for a second, just consider how many other everyday foods might have these hidden layers, these complexities and benefits we just haven't deep dived into yet. Makes you think about your relationship with all the ingredients on your plate, doesn't it?
It really does. A great thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive and for sharing your sources. We'll catch you next time for another one.